When a man stops chasing, something shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like a door closing in a house you didn't realize was full of noise until the silence hits you. And in that silence, something starts growing. Most men never find out what, because most men never stop. They chase their whole lives, different faces, same hunger, and they call it love. But it isn't love. It's hunger wearing love's clothes, and hungry men make desperate decisions. Desperate decisions that cost them years, sometimes decades, sometimes everything. You're still here because some part of you already knows this. You've felt it. That quiet exhaustion behind the pursuit. That moment where you gave everything, and it still wasn't enough. Where you showed up fully, and she left anyway. Where you did everything right, and the outcome was still wrong. That moment didn't break you. That moment was trying to wake you up. So let's talk about what happens when you finally listen. The first thing that changes when you stop pursuing is your time. Not just the hours you were spending on dates that went nowhere. Not just the weekends lost to situationships that had no future. I mean the invisible time, the mental hours, the background process that never fully switched off. You know the one. The part of your mind that was always half running her name, replaying the last conversation, trying to decode what she meant, calculating your next move. That process, that constant, exhausting, invisible process, consumed more of you than you ever admitted. When it stops, the silence is almost disorienting, because suddenly you can hear yourself think. And what you hear might surprise you, because for the first time in a long time, your thoughts are yours again. Unfiltered, unperformed, not shaped around what she might think of them. Not edited for palatability, just you. Raw, uncut, showing up to your own life. That's the first gift. And most men don't even recognize it as a gift. They mistake it for loneliness. But loneliness is an absence. This is a presence. The presence of yourself. Maybe for the first time. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because the second thing that changes is something most people don't talk about. Your standards. When you're in pursuit mode, your standards are negotiable. Don't pretend they aren't. You've done it. I've done it. Every man who has ever chased someone they knew wasn't right for them has done it. You saw the red flags. You saw the incompatibility. You felt the misalignment. And you stayed anyway. Because leaving felt worse than tolerating. Because empty hands felt worse than holding something broken. But when the pursuit ends, when you are no longer driven by the fear of going home alone, your standards stop being negotiable. They crystallize. You start seeing people clearly, not through the lens of potential, not through the filter of what they could be if they just changed this one thing. You see them as they are, right now, today. And that clarity is the beginning of your power, because a man who sees clearly cannot be manipulated. He cannot be kept in situations beneath him by the promise of something better that never arrives. He makes decisions from truth, not from hope dressed up as truth. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you is the part most people never reach. There's something that happens in the body of a man who has stopped chasing. Something physical. Something that other people feel before they understand it. It's not confidence in the conventional sense. It's not louder or more assertive or more dominant. It's almost the opposite. It's stillness. A man who has stopped performing for external approval stops filling every silence with noise. He stops laughing at things he doesn't find funny. He stops shrinking in rooms where he once would have worked the crowd. He stops over-explaining himself, over-justifying his choices, over-apologizing for who he is. He just exists, fully, without apology, without agenda. And people feel it. They can't name it, but they feel it. There's a weight to a man who is comfortable in his own silence, a gravity, the kind that doesn't demand attention, it just earns it. You've seen this man. You've been in a room with him. He doesn't say the most. He doesn't move the most. But when he does speak, people listen. When he does move, people notice. Not because he orchestrated it, because he's simply operating from a frequency that most people never access. That frequency is available to you. It was always available to you. The pursuit was just interfering with the signal. If this is resonating with you, if you feel like this content is rare and it's actually shifting something, I want to ask you to support the channel. There's a PayPal link in the description or in the first pinned comment. Even a small contribution keeps this kind of content alive. Now let's keep going, because we're not even at the most important part yet. Here's the paradox that will mess with your head. The man who stopped pursuing, the man who removed himself from the game entirely, becomes the man that others pursue. Not because he engineered it, not because he played strategy, but because genuine indifference to approval is the rarest thing in a world that is completely addicted to it. Think about what everyone around you is doing right now. Performing, curating, posting, signaling, every move calibrated around how it will be received. Every choice filtered through the question, what will this make people think of me? Now imagine a man who has simply opted out of that question entirely. He doesn't wonder how he's being perceived. Not because he's arrogant, but because his self-image is no longer a democracy. He's not putting it to a vote. He's not waiting for the results to come in. He knows who he is. And that knowing is unshakable. Women who would have scrolled past him during the pursuit phase suddenly find themselves slowing down. Not because he changed his appearance, not because he learned new tactics, but because his energy is different. He's not broadcasting need. And in a world where everyone is broadcasting need, the man who isn't becomes impossible to ignore. The same thing happens in business, in friendships, in every room he walks into. The man who doesn't need you is the man you want in the room. It's not a strategy, it's physics. Pressure flows from high to low. Attention flows toward what doesn't beg for it. But here's where I need to stop you, because this message gets twisted, and I won't let that happen here. There are men who hear stop pursuing and translate it into become cold. They build a wall and call it a boundary. They perform indifference as a tactic. They use this philosophy as permission to be emotionally unavailable, and they dress it up as mastery. That is not this. The man who withdraws from bitterness is still tethered to the thing he left. He's not free, he's just yanking the chain from the other direction. He's still defined by women, by the wound they left, by the resentment he carries like it's an identity. Real detachment is not armor. It is not manufactured coldness. It is the natural result of a man who has filled his own life so completely, with purpose, with discipline, with genuine self-respect, that there is simply no vacancy for chaos. He does not reject love. He refuses to accept its counterfeits. And that distinction is everything, because the man this transformation is actually about, he is not cold. He is warm in the way that only a man who needs nothing from you can be. He gives without agenda. He connects without desperation. He loves without clinging. That kind of man is almost mythological right now. Because everyone else is negotiating, he is simply being. Now let me tell you what this man's life actually looks like, from the inside. He wakes up early, not to impress anyone, not to post about it, because that is what a man like him does. He trains, not to be desired, but because strength is its own reward, and he has finally internalized that. He works, not to earn status, not to have something to say at dinner parties, but because his work is the evidence of his values, the physical proof that he is who he says he is. He builds things, quietly, consistently, without announcement. His finances start reflecting his focus, because a man who is not spending money to perform a lifestyle for people who don't care about him suddenly has capital, real capital, that can be moved toward real goals. He stops buying things to look like he's winning. He starts investing in actually winning. His friendships change, the ones built on commiseration, on bonding over shared misery, over failed relationships, over women who didn't choose them. Those friendships fade. They have to, because he no longer needs that mirror. And the friendships that grow in their place are different, grounded, purposeful, built on what men are building, not what they're escaping. His relationship with silence changes most of all. He stops filling it. He stops reaching for his phone the moment stillness becomes uncomfortable. He learns to sit in it, to let it work on him, because silence is where self-knowledge lives. And self-knowledge is the foundation of everything. And then one day, not as a destination but as a quiet arrival, the right person recognizes what he has become. Not with fireworks, not with the breathless excitement of infatuation. With something quieter, something steadier. Recognition, the way peace recognizes peace. The way someone who has done the same internal work sees it reflected in another person, and feels, for the first time in a long time, safe. She won't be drawn to his performance. Because he isn't performing, she'll be drawn to his presence.